come from doing a set at the International Comedy Club, and I was there with my cousin who's about my age and one of her younger friends.
In a fiery interview, Rosie O'Donnell unleashes a verbal onslaught, branding President Trump a criminal con man who's plunged America into a dystopian nightmare. Her words ignite a firestorm online, but will they spark change or just fuel the divide? Picture this: a television studio in Ireland, thousands of miles from the White House, yet the air crackles with the raw energy of a New York street fight. Rosie O'Donnell, the outspoken comedian and actress, steps into the spotlight on Ireland AM and delivers a verbal knockout punch to President Donald Trump. Her words are sharp, unfiltered, and dripping with decades of resentment. She doesn't just criticize, she eviscerates, calling Trump a criminal and painting America's current state as a dystopian nightmare. The internet explodes, fans rally, and the battle lines are drawn. But is Rosie's fiery crusade a wake-up call, or just another scream into the void? Rosie's relentless takedown. It all went down on a crisp morning broadcast, where Rosie O'Donnell didn't hold back. "It's worse every day," she declared, her voice thick with frustration. "I feel like we're in a dystopian nightmare, and no one is doing anything about it." But she wasn't done. She turned her sights directly on Trump, accusing him of a laundry list of sins: breaking laws, taking bribes, blackmailing people, and even stealing from children's cancer charities. "He's a criminal con man," she said, her words slicing through the airwaves. "If you grew up in New York as I did, you knew this your whole life." Rosie's attack wasn't just personal, it was historical. She dragged up Trump's past, from planes repossessed at LaGuardia to his failed ventures in Cologne and a sham university. "We watched him try to sell steaks in Cologne and a fake university," she said, her tone a mix of disbelief and disgust. "Steal money from charity, so his family can't even have a charity anymore in New York State." Her final blow? A challenge to Trump supporters. There's no way you can look at the facts about this man and still believe in him. You have to have willful blindness. A social media firestorm. The clip of Rosie's interview hit the internet like a Molotov cocktail. On Reddit, fans rallied behind her, their comments a mix of awe and anguish. One user wrote, "Love that she is speaking out consistently. The Dems and I am one are too weak and passive. This truly is a dystopian nightmare." Another vented, "It feels like an unstoppable machine crushing us. I was disappointed in Kamala's statements that we shouldn't be looking for Democratic Party leaders to stop this." The sentiment was clear. Rosie was saying what many felt but few dared to voice. Others pointed to the personal feud that's simmered since the 90s. Her post after threats of having her citizenship taken away was perfect. A third user commented, "This idiot has it all, and she still lives rent-free in his head." But not everyone was optimistic. A fourth user lamented, "Good that she's speaking out, but the people that need to hear this won't listen. They've already had their minds made up for them." A fifth pleaded, "Rosie, please don't stop. You're right. Nobody else is speaking out about his blatant disregard for the Constitution or our rights." X lit up too, with posts amplifying Rosie's words. One user shared the clip with the caption, "Rosie O'Donnell just said what we're all thinking. Hashtag Trump is a criminal." Another posted a meme of Trump as a toddler throwing a tantrum, referencing Rosie's jab about his mind of a toddler. But Trump's supporters fired back, dismissing her as a washed-up has-been and accusing her of liberal whining. The divide was stark, and the internet became a battleground. A few decades in the making. To understand Rosie's venom, you need to rewind. Her beef with Trump isn't new. It's a saga that stretches back to the 1990s. Back then, Rosie was a daytime TV queen, and Trump was a brash real estate mogul with a tabloid obsession. Their paths crossed when Rosie publicly mocked his business failures, from bankruptcies to his infamous Trump University. Trump hit back, calling her names and threatening lawsuits. The feud simmered, but it exploded during Trump's presidency, with Rosie becoming one of his most vocal critics. Her accusations aren't baseless. Trump's legal troubles are well documented. His charity, the Donald J. Trump Foundation, was dissolved in 2018 after New York authorities found it engaged in persistent illegal conduct, including funneling funds to Trump's campaign. His Trump University settled for $25 million over fraud allegations. And while Trump supporters dismiss these as witch hunts, Rosie's New York roots give her a front-row seat to his checkered past. "We watched his planes get repossessed off the runway at LaGuardia," she said, a nod to his financial woes in the 90s. For Rosie, this isn't just politics, it's personal. But there's more to Rosie than her Trump obsession. She's a comedian, a mother, and a fierce advocate for causes like children's welfare and LGBTQ rights. Her outspokenness has cost her, alienating some fans and drawing threats, like the one about her citizenship. Yet she persists, driven by a belief that silence equals complicity. "I don't understand how he's able to get away with it," she said, her voice breaking with exasperation. For Rosie, this is a fight for America's soul, a nation divided. Rosie's outburst comes at a time when America feels like a powder keg. Trump's presidency has always been a lightning rod, and with his recent health issues making headlines, the stakes feel higher. The Irish Star article also references other controversies, like Trump's fixation on trans athletes and a debunked claim about an NFL star on his sports council. These stories paint a picture of a leader under fire, yet unshaken in his base's eyes. Rosie's dystopian nightmare resonates with those who see a country fraying at the seams, political gridlock, eroded trust, and a media circus that thrives on division. Social media reflects this split. On X, hashtags like #RosieSpeaksTruth trend alongside #MAGA, each side shouting past the other. Rosie's fans see her as a truth teller, a lone voice calling out a criminal con man. Her critics, though, see her as a relic of a fading Hollywood elite, out of touch with real America. The truth? Both sides are entrenched, and Rosie's words, while cathartic for some, might not sway the needle. Why this matters? Here's where I get real. Rosie's words hit me hard because they echo a fear I think a lot of US share. What happens when the system feels broken? I grew up admiring Rosie's humor and heart, but her raw anger on Ireland AM felt like a gut punch. It's not just about Trump. It's about what he represents to people like her, people who feel like the rules don't apply to the powerful. I'm not saying she's 100% right. Hyperbole can cloud the truth, but her passion comes from a place of love for her country. And honestly, who hasn't felt that mix of rage and helplessness watching the news lately? What bugs me is the silence from others. Why aren't more celebrities, leaders, or everyday people speaking out with this kind of fire? Maybe they're scared, or maybe they're just numb. But Rosie's willingness to take the heat, knowing she'll get slammed by half the country, makes me respect her more. It's messy, it's polarizing, but it's real. And in a world that feels increasingly fake, that's worth something.